Let me try to explain this to you. I'm not a mathematician and I'm not a physicist, but what I am, I still don't know. String theory, right? Unified field. There's this equation called, and it has this 10th to the 500th universe, 10th to the 500th power. And what they're doing essentially is they're measuring light. They're measuring energy within a six-dimensional shape. And what they're looking for is how light reacts in a six-dimensional shape to see if there's like a feedback loop in this direction. And usually with other dimensions, they get feedback loops, right? Well, this one, they don't. So I asked the question, like, why? And is it possible to have curvature in an equation? And they've been working at this thing for a long time, right? Eventually, they will get to a point where something doesn't add up. Either the system is flawed, which evidently it can't be because the numeric system is a numeric system. And this is theoretical math, so it's not technically there. However, I asked the question if it's curvature or even time dilation. I don't know, I'm just asking. And I'm over here surfing through my GPT. I have a report about this on archive because of who the hell am I to publish this on, anyways, right? You have entropy, right? And you have curvature of light. If you give it fluctuation in the equation versus looking for a finite variable or digit, it doesn't necessarily not work. And you're left with this thing called a scalar equation. And scalar equations are not uncommon, they're just not reliable in the linear sense because the universe isn't linear. And that just makes it more dogmatic because you can't find a linear answer, right? So we implemented entropy, and I looked at Einstein's energy equation, and if C equals coherence squared, C squared, it would make sense if the cause of curvature in light were its polarity. I don't know anything, but this makes for interesting content, right? So I'm plugging and playing entropy squared. Yeah, I'll get to that in a second. Like, you can't measure entropy. You can't measure it if you don't have two sources of where's and what's and how's. But if I do, you have light and then you have radiation, right? As light passes through the universe and its waves, you're only measuring one stream of light. But that doesn't change the fact that the curvature of it can change too, even in the equation. So we plugged in phi. That showed something because the feedback loop started. Again, it's the scalar. But then it became recursive entropy.